everything all walled off now. Big fences, barbed wire, cameras. It looks like a maximum security. I can only imagine how the pupfish feel. Well, we know how they're feeling. Their numbers are declining every year. Well, they said, well, now we have a problem where the bacteria and the moss, and it doesn't want to grow on the shelf. It used to grow real good, and that's what the pupfish eat. Now that moss doesn't want to grow anymore. Well, what doesn't that moss want to grow anymore? Well, we have to find a new product we can artificially feed the pupfish to make up for the moss that's no longer growing. Well, why isn't the moss no longer growing? Well, you don't have to be a rocket scientist. With all this fencing, they blocked off to access ingress and egress of all the natural critters. Coyotes, bighorn sheep, all of nature's animals that when they drink, they might also urinate and defecate. That puts the nutrients in the water that give the nutrients for the bacteria and the moss to grow. So every action they have, they create 3 more problems. And so what I've seen with the Fuentes Ranch here, what they claim is necessary to help a species or to save a species in all likelihood is nothing more than a retaliatory measure because they lowball them on a price on this camp, and the Fuentes says, no, we like our camp. Well, wasn't that far afterwards, that's when the big earth-moving equipment came to completely obliterate the water paths and channels that used to come through this camp. So, and then we saw that happen. I also went to the refuge director and said, I think it was Cynthia at that point in time? Sharon McKelvey. We said, well, the way you're doing up there, you're going to create a potential for a flood. And I think it was less than 2 weeks after the new channels were put in, we had a flood. And the flood wiped out the ingress and egress of the road out here. It sent a wall of water and mud through the camp. And it wasn't that it was that hard to forecast. We saw what they did. They did it completely bass-backward, you might say. They didn't have any permits, didn't have it reviewed through the Army Corps of Engineers, through the EPA. They didn't have it gone through FEMA. It was just bootleg through, and had private individuals done what they did, or a private business, they'd be looking at serious fines and very possibly quite a lengthy jail term. But I'm out here just as a person to give some historical perspective on it. I've seen this piece of ground for the last 22 years. I know a little bit about the case, and I applaud all of you for wanting to participate in it and help support even the greater mission, and that's against the government that wants too much, takes too much, and gives back too little. So I was very blessed to be here, folks, and thank you for listening to me paddle on and on and on.
Okay, thanks a lot, Eddie. That was really good. Well said. Okay, our next speakers is Annette and Victor Fuentes. A nice big round of applause. I just want to let you know, these people are the salt of the earth. I love them dearly.
I just want to say thank you, everybody, for coming and supporting us. And what a great bunch of people. And you know what? We're going to win this fight. For sure, we're going to win this fight. Amen. I just want to say, Ken Gary is here, and his wife used to be the secretary for this ranch, and he brought us the sign. It's really a great sign, but it's also sad because this is the sign that they used. You want to hold that up so they can see it? It's the sign that they used when they had to auction off and shut down the ranch. And this is, Ken, this was from when, the 60s, 70s? 73. That's history right there. You know, and it's very sad over the Devil's Hole pupfish. And they were able, I talked to Mr. Caperet's daughter-in-law, and she was telling me they were able to reproduce the Devil's Hole pupfish. So that's our government. But thank you all for coming, and everybody that's worked hard. We thank you all. And we got a great bunch of friends.
So, you know, again, I want to thank everybody for coming today. But one of the things that I want to say is that somebody told me that in the corner of 95 and 373, They have some police over there and some ranger. You know, I don't know who they're watching. You know, I want to say this. As far as I know, the criminals are in $10 million building, sitting right there. We haven't stolen anything. We haven't diverted no water. We haven't broken any law. The lawbreakers are over there. Yeah. And they're watching us. Something is wrong right here. Yeah. They're watching us. See? So something needs to be changed in America. Something needs to be changed in Nye County.
Change back to the law.
Yeah. Fish and Wildlife, BLM, and Forestry, they need to get out from our state. We don't need them. Listen, the farmer that they destroyed, he produced for us. He provided a paycheck for people. Fish and Wildlife, Forestry, and BLM, they are wasting our money. We are working for them. We are paying them for them to destroy us. Think about it. Think about it. They don't produce no potatoes. I know you know potatoes that, and the box say, you know, Fish and Wildlife produce this. Or BLM. Something is wrong in America, and we are eating it. Now, I want to tell you something. Look around in this building and look the age of the people in this building. I don't want to offend anybody. But this is the last generation fighting for freedom in America.
Yeah. Amen.
The new generation is being indoctrinated to be communist and socialist.
Yes.
I'm giving you a free phone. See? I'm giving you free education. Believe me what I told you. Believe me, my friend, I come from Cuba. I lived 26 years of my life in Cuba. Nobody told me this. I lived there. I didn't read it in a textbook. I lived there. And over half here. I'm 52. I know that system, and I know and what this system has become to, because it's not as it used to be. See, where they control what you eat, what you wear, where you live, where you drive. They control everything. They control your life, and you have no freedom to speak. If you say something against the government, you gotta go in. They mark you. They don't have computer in Cuba. Listen to this. They don't have computer like they have here. And for some reason, when you are against the government in Cuba, you're going to apply for a work, and they know that you are against the government. You go to the next office, they know you. I don't know how they do it. Without computer. And here they have computer, and they check your Social Security. But over there, I don't know how they do it. That is how controlled that society is. And that is and what this is becoming to. Believe me, my friend, not let anybody to lie to you. Let's fight for freedom. Let's fight for what is true. I want to thank our new attorney, Chris, from Mount Legal Foundation. They're going to start to work on our case. But we have to go beyond that. We have to wake up. We need to fight. We need to believe again. We need to pray again. They also want to take our prayer. I didn't know anything about God when I was in Cuba. Nothing. I wasn't able to own a Bible. And I was telling my friend a long time ago, you know, when I read the book of Genesis, I find out that I was free. I was created free. I don't belong to any government. I was free. When I read the Bible, and then I understand something. My dad used to own a gun. I remember growing up, I remember that gun. And the government in Cuba, the first thing that they did, they took the Bible. You don't need to believe in God. We are your God. We are your provider. So see, they steal your faith. That is the first thing the communist government do. What is happening in America, my friend? You mention the name of Jesus, it's like you throw poison or something. This is not new. Second thing that they did, they took the gun from the hand of the people. Guess what? After that, they control everything. You raise one hand and they chop you up. See? So we need to be careful, my friend. We need to fight. We have to wake up. We need to recognize that we are under attack by our own government. That is the truth. These guys over here, my friend, the Bounties, they have a ranch. And they use BLM land, you know, for their cattle and stuff. We have a private land. We have no cattle. We are no ranch. We are no spraying water in the air. And they took our water and they took our property. So it's about cow? It's not about cow. Believe me what I tell you. It's about the usurpation of your property and your right and your freedom.
About control.
It's about control. My friend, think about that. Now, we have our sheriff and we have our elected officials. They are supposed to defend us. They are supposed to protect us. But you know what happened? They are sold out to the Fed. I go to the commissioner meeting and it breaks my heart when the federal government gave 9 counties $1 million. It seemed like a lot. And they said, you know, $1 million, and somebody said, oh, that is good. They gave us $1 million. How much they take from us?
Yeah.
Think about it. I come from Cuba. I don't understand too much about it, but you know, I try to make sense over here. How much they take from us? And then they give us $1 million, and everybody says, hey. And I look, and it upset me. Break my heart. But you know, I think in the end, we're going to win. We will win. But remember, keep your Bible and your gun. Don't allow anybody to take your hand.
Very well said. Thank you. I just want to say, I got to know Annette at an AFP meeting, and I heard Victor tell a story, and it really touched my heart. And here they're doing this fight around here, but yet Annette, I just kept on seeing her in front of the courthouse over and over again. And so at that point, we decided that we was going to go ahead and do something like this. And I'm sure glad that we did this, and I want to thank everybody that's been involved with this.
Thank you, David.
Okay. Next up is Chris Briles. Did I pronounce that correctly? He's a former fire chief of Burns, Oregon. He's one of the good guys. He was sickened by what he experienced and witnessed there, and he was one of the ones that exposed the FBI undercover agents.
Yeah.
A big round of applause for this patriot.
Stand up here?
Yes. There we go.
I'm a big boy now. I'm up here talking with the big guys.
We love you.
My name is Chris Briles. I moved to Harney County, Oregon in 1978 from Colorado because I didn't like the big city, Denver, and everybody seemed like they were in a big hurry to die. I mean, rushing everywhere, doing everything. I moved out to Harney County because I thought, here's a place I can raise my children. Here's a place that doesn't have corruption and crime. They have drugs like everybody else does, but I thought, this is a cool place. I moved there. The mill, Edward Hines Lumber Mill, was running. Had over 600 employees, running day in, day out, 24 hours a day. You know, they were cutting 1 million board feet of timber per day in the mill. That's a tremendous amount of resource. There were JIPO loggers, independent loggers, there were logging outfits, they were doing all kinds of stuff. And when I moved there, if they had a forest fire, guess what happened? As soon as there was a smoke anywhere, the loggers threw their stuff down and they aggressively attacked it. And as soon as the rancher heard that there was a fire up there where their cattle grazed in the summer, They got their butts up there. All our buckaroos, everybody. If it was a bad fire, they shut the mill down and all the employees went up and they fought it and they put it out. We had no big fires. None. And gradually I noticed that you would hear, well, they had a fire up on Buck Creek and old Bill was up there. He was going by with his cat and he stopped and he was going to put a fire line around it. And the Forest Service came by and said, no. Too much liability. We have to wait till one of our contract cats gets up here in the next couple, 3-4 hours, maybe 2 or 3 days. And a 20-minute job would have taken care of it, but they wait. And they wait. The ranchers weren't allowed to fight their own fire on their own grazing allotments. People weren't allowed to go up there and even look at the fire. You know, you guys get back, you're going to get hurt. You know, this is a dangerous job. Well, it is dangerous. But they weren't getting hurt because they weren't really doing anything. So I saw it transition and go that way. I saw the people come in as, oh gosh, you can't cut trees, you know. They had the spotted owl over on the coast and all of that stuff. Did you ever see an owl that didn't fly? You know, it can fly to a different tree. You know, they used to, yeah, weird concept, huh? But they used to have all kinds of strange stuff going on, you know, and it's not just in Harney County. I hear the same thing that went on here, you know. You had a tortoise that now's a pain in the neck, you know. Go figure. How does that work? How does that work? You know, and it's just been going on. It's getting worse and worse and worse. We had the Hammonds. A lot of you people have heard about the Hammonds, Dwight and Stephen Hammond. When I was a county fire chief for 32 years, Steve Hammond was probably the most cooperative of all the ranchers. He would call me and he'd say, "Hey Chris, I gotta do a little bit of burn. What do you want me to do?" Well, okay, let's talk it over. Yeah, okay, yeah, go for it. And the Hammonds Ranch was surrounded by BLM managed land. That's public land, people. BLM doesn't own anything.
Right.
They're not supposed to own anything. Ask them and they'll tell you, "Oh yeah, that's ours." But it's not. It's ours. They were trying to run the Hammonds off their ranch, you know, and it started with water. The same kind of thing that happened to these folks right here. There was a water right, and the Hammonds filed on it. If you're going to have a right, you have to file on it, and you have to use it, you have to protect it, you know, own it. Well, they filed on some water rights. And then the refuge says, "Oh, no, we want that water." And the Hammond said, "No, we filed on it, it's ours." And so they developed the water, and so the BLM came in and they fenced around the water features so that the cattle couldn't get them. You know, is that just a tad underhanded?
Yeah.
And it just went from one thing to another, to another, to another, to another. And I'm sure that the Hammonds made a mistake now and again just by being too upset over it. But what would you do? What would you do if they were trying to run you out of business? They didn't do anything other than one of the fires that was lit, the BLM lit a fire, and it was headed towards the Hammond Ranch. They set a backfire. And it got off of their property, and they burned less than 140 acres of ground. Less than 140 acres of ground, and they put it out, and no one got hurt. $400,000 fine and 5 years in prison. And the judge said this would shock the conscience for the minimum, mandatory minimum sentence was 5 years because it was under the Terrorism Act. And so the judge said this would shock the conscience to give someone 5 years for this. So he gave them significantly less sentences. They both went and served their sentences. They looked forward to getting out. They got out. They came home. And the federal government said, wait a minute, you didn't do all your sentence. So they took them back and made them, they're still in prison, serving out that sentence.
Double jeopardy.
Double.
And very, very little of it was done correctly. It was just done. Because that's the way it works. I saw the same kind of a thing in the trial for the Bundys over in Portland. Corrupt courts for the Hammonds. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely, totally ridiculous. When I had heard about the Bundys, and I watched on the TV, and I thought, wow, they're made out to be a bunch of radicals, and they look like ranchers. But these are radical ranchers. And I watched that, and I watched the helicopters and all of that kind of crap, and then all of a sudden, the BLM packed their little toys and went home. And I went, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? Ruby Ridge and all that other stuff, that ain't how it worked. Typically, they go in and they annihilate everybody, and they say that's the way it goes, and that we were well justified and all of that. The BLM left the Bundys. Why? Because they were in the wrong. It's the only thing that my mind could wrap around is they were in the wrong. And they knew it. And they had to get out of there. So, they left. With their tail between their legs. And a big vendetta to have. Well, Ammon, Ryan, all these guys, they heard about the Hammonds in Harney County. They came to help. As soon as they came to help, the BLM, the federal government, they told the Hammonds, if you talk with these people, if you have anything at all to do with them, we're going to make things way, way worse on you. But the Bundys, they were still there. They came to help. I heard they were going to be speaking at our fairgrounds. And so I thought, well, nobody tells me what to think about you or you or you. I'm going to come and I'm going to shake your hand. I'm going to look you right square in the eye. I'm going to make up my own mind. I'm not listening to the news media because they don't really do well with the truth. You know, it's scary. I've been interviewed lots of times and then look and see what was said, and it certainly wasn't something I said. And it just keeps going on. They asked me to come and talk, but I don't have enough time to talk about all of it that went on. You know, I saw our little town, our happy little town, and all of a sudden, the Bundys, they came. We went on a peaceful walk. We sang songs and gave flowers to the Hammonds. And then Ammon went out and occupied the refuge. I didn't know anything about what the refuge occupation was about. I was pretty slow in the head. I had just been nominated to the Committee of Safety. Ammon, Ryan, and those guys, they talked to us about the Committee of Safety and the importance of it in our history. And I was at that meeting. He says, do you think we should have a Committee of Safety? Everybody was unanimous, yes. Let's open it up for nominations. The first guy got nominated, and I went, look what happened to him. I was the second one. And he bailed out right after that. So I didn't know what I was supposed to do. I wish I would have. At that time, I wish I would have. We needed to take a redress of grievances. I don't know if you've heard of that, but it's something that you can do. You say, hey, government, you're doing things a little bit wrong here. We'd like to relook at this Hammond case. Let's look and see if there were errors made. And if there was something wrong or broken, let's fix it and make it right. They wouldn't have anything at all to do with it. They ignored it. They wouldn't pay any attention to us. If I would have known a little more about the Committee of Safeties, we could have done a little bit more. But the other problem that we had with our committee of safety is we had some people that said, I'm not signing anything. My God, I don't know what they're going to do to us. You know, I've got a business, and if I sign that thing, man, the county's going to come down on me, and I ain't going to have a, you know, and I looked at it and I thought, well, what's right and what's wrong? We all know the difference between right and wrong. It don't make a bit of difference on who's going to intimidate you. If it's right, it's right. If it's wrong, it's wrong. So I stood up for what I felt was right. And we had a little dinky town. Harney County is a little over 10,500 square miles, and there's 7,000 people that live in it. And 3,000 of them live in Burns, and 2,000 live in Hines, and then the rest of them are scattered way out. Peaceful little community, everybody waves, hi, how you doing? Stop and help everybody. I always did. I grew up on a ranch, that's what you do. You see somebody that needs help, you stop and help them. If they don't need help, they'll tell you, I don't need any help, thank you. And you made them smile. What's wrong with that? You know, but they came in, and here all of a sudden, we've got MREPs, military vehicles. We've got Black Hawk helicopters. We've got police agencies from all over the place. We have the FBI. We've got the military. They put chain link fences around our courthouse and our junior high and put snipers up on top of those buildings. Because the Bundys were there, and they were out there 30 miles away at the refuge, and they had guns. And I was out there a lot of times, and I saw a lot of guns, and I never, ever, ever did I see one that I thought would have reached 30 miles back into town. It's just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. They were throwing ranchers down on the ground in the snow that were just going to feed their cattle. Exit the vehicle, throw them on the ground. Just be tough guys and intimidate people and scare people. And they were in town in Burns and Hines, and there were all these black SUVs with the blacked out windows going around. And all of these reports about, oh, they were harassing the local law enforcement officers and doing this and doing that and doing this and doing that. And it was all the patriots that were doing that. Well, there was, you know, the 3%ers and the Oath Keepers were there. There were quite a lot of people. I've been in Harney County since 1978, and as a county fire chief and as the Burns fire chief, and I ran the ambulance. So I've been all over that county, and I know a lot of people. And I don't own anything other than my house, but in my heart and in my soul, these are my people. This is my country. What are you doing in my country? What the heck is going on? You know, and our local judge had his county court meetings at the high school. He'd parade around there in his little peacock shirt and be a big shot. You know, it was ridiculous. People were afraid. People wouldn't talk to each other anymore. Families were breaking up. Friends weren't talking to each other. Oh, I'm on this side, I'm on that side. And there was somebody stirring the pot everywhere you went. And that's a ploy that they do. They've done it in war all over the world. You divide and you conquer. You divide and you conquer. So here they were dividing us up, trying to conquer us. It was ridiculous. So here, one day I went to talk to a friend of mine who was working on my rig, and he said, you've aligned yourself with the wrong people. You're with them Bundys and them crazy people who won't even pay their grazing fees and blah, 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 blah. And I said, wait a minute, I haven't aligned myself with anybody, but I'm out there trying to figure out what's true and what's not. He said, well, some of your cohorts were over here at the armory this morning. We had to call the cops on them. Really? And he got a phone call right then. He really got blowed up. He poked me in the chest. He says, they're over there now. You better go find out where your cohorts are up to. And I said, I haven't got any cohorts, and I'm absolutely not afraid of anything on this planet, so I'm going to go see, and I'll come back. Well, the vehicles left. I followed one of them until they stopped. I got out. I said, my name's Chris Briles. You were just over at the armory, and it's really upsetting some of the people here. We got a lot of weird things going on, and I'm trying to alleviate some of my friends' fears. Can you tell me who you are? Well, I'm Bill, and that's Joe. You know, my name's Chris Briles. What's your last name? Well, Bill and Joe. Okay, and why are you at the armory? We're not at the armory. Yes, you were. I just followed you from there. Well, you got no reason to, you got no business to follow us. What were you there for? We're just two guys going through town trying to start a new business. Well, typically we don't have a new business at the armory. So why are you here? And then the littler one, he says, well, actually we were at the armory, and we were looking at the deer in the backyard there, and there was a big old 4-point shooter in there. Boy, that's a nice buck. And I said, well, typically we don't shoot deer at the armory. Now, if you guys are sportsmen, one of them had camo on. I can show you where to hunt rabbits. We got some fishing. We got some sage rats. We got some things going on. But I'd really like for you to be honest. I don't think you're being honest with me. And the big one, he looks down at me. He's going to intimidate me. That don't work. I said, just tell me the truth. He said, we're hungry. We're going to go get a sandwich, if that's all right with you. And I said, okay. I'll buy your sandwich if you're just honest with me. Please. This is important. No, we're just going to go eat if that's all right with you. It's okay. So they left. I took a picture of their license plate and their vehicle, and I went up to the sheriff's office. I've been in and out of that sheriff's office I don't know how many times. Gobs of times. I was met with an automatic weapon.
Oh my God.
Where do you think you're going? I'm going to go talk to the sheriff. No, you're not. Why? I said, tell him my name's Chris Briles and I want to talk to him. He's in a meeting. I said, well, call him and tell him that I need to talk to him. It's important. He said, if you have a problem, you call 911. I said, there are some dishonest people doing some weird things in this town, and I want to talk to the sheriff. And here this automatic weapon came up against me, and he says, no, like I said, call 911. I said, well, thanks a lot for absolutely nothing. And I went back over to my rig, and I called the dispatch, and I said, hey, here's the license plate number. There's something strange going on here, and I'm being treated like dirt. And she said, well, Chris, I'm sorry, you're not dirt, and it's crazy. And I said, okay, this is the number. So then I drove back down to tell my friend what I had found out. And there was a sheriff deputy down there and a Burns police chief. And they said, what's going on? And I told them what had happened. And he said, I don't know what's going on. Then the sheriff's deputy got a phone call. And he said, oh, the two white vehicles were FBI, and the black one that you followed was FBI. It's a rental out of Washington State, and that's FBI undercover. And we have to keep that a secret. Don't tell anyone.
Really?
And that didn't really feel right to me. Well, that night happened to be the first night that Grasty had his little peacock session in his county court meeting at the high school. And the first thing he did, he gets out there with his microphone, he's parading back and forth. I want you people to know that the Harney County Committee of Safety has nothing to do with Harney County. They've got a website, and they've got our logo on one of their pictures, and they don't even have permission for it, and they are not in any way, shape, or form affiliated with Harney County. And so he pretty much demonized us right off the bat. Well, when the microphone came around, they said, take it, Chris, and then everybody knows I'm mouth off. And so I took it and I said, I want everybody to know that the Harney County Committee of Safety is not and has not been affiliated with Harney County, nor would we even want to be. And the picture of the county's logo has been taken off for any of those that have watched it. Ammon Bundy bought the website for us out of his own pocket, paid for our emails, special emails, and we have it. And we're controlling it. And I told them, we've been blackballed in this community. We can't have a meeting anywhere. But we did have one meeting, and we had like 300 people there. Wasn't a single law enforcement officer there, and we didn't have any problems. Now at this county court peacock show, there must have been 50 of them. They were all over the place. And I stood right there with a microphone in my hand, and I said, where do you think the fear is coming from? It's not coming from the refuge. Where do you think the fear is coming from? It's coming here. This is where the fear is. Well, they didn't like hearing that too much.
1 minute, Chris.
Okay. I told you there's no way I can handle it all. There's no way.
Anything I should get high on, Ryan?
1 minute ain't much time, but
Well, we're not, this isn't part of my minute. We're talking.
just mention what the, I'm trying to remember his name, the old man said about this being the jewel of the county.
Right. Jerry Miller said, and I should have, when I moved there in 1978, Harney County had about the largest per capita growth rate. It was one of the wealthiest counties. And now it's either the last or the second to the last. The unemployment rate has been the highest in the state. It made it easy for me to write grants. But our economy is down. As the Forest Service put more and more pressure, and the people made it less logging, then there was more and more Forest Service people. Less loggers' jobs. They shut the mill down. One of the largest mills in the United States in the early 30s. In the early 30s, it had the longest building undercover in the world. And now it's a ghost town. And what I would like to say is that we are in the United States of America, and we have allowed this to happen in our country. And we have to stand up, and we have to fight. I was asked if I would come and talk. I live in Burns, Oregon. I drove down here because they said somebody wants to hear from somebody that was actually there. I had a brother in Denver. He didn't believe anything that was going on until I told him. And he says, you got to be kidding me. Yeah, don't listen to mainstream media. It's pretty sad. But we all need to be together. You know, they divide and conquer. They take the Bible, they take your guns, they take your friends, they take your relatives. Everybody's all split up. Now you got all these little people that don't have any leadership or don't know which way they're going. They're easy to handle. We need more people that aren't easy to handle. What they did to these people's water is crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. What do you think would happen if all of a sudden 10 lowboys with 10 bulldozers showed up and put it back the way it's supposed to be? Here, here! Just do it. Anyway, I ate up my minute, didn't I?
I could listen to you all night, but we're limited on this speaker.
Well, sit down.
We've got the raffle going on. Donna Cox is heading it up, and so we're going to have a 5 to 10 minute intermission. Now, Annette, if you're going to be smoking, we've got a smoking bucket out front here. It's an orange one, and go ahead and smoke your cigarettes right there, and she'll be happy. See you in about 5-10 minutes.
We have all this dry grass.
Yeah, we've got a lot of dry grass and everything.
All right, everyone, thanks for listening. Sorry for the interruption. We are going to take a 2-minute break, and I'm going to let my phone cool down a little bit. It's really hot. So I'm going to finish this one out, and I'll start up again as soon as we get going. So hit them hearts, hit them thumbs up, share. Try and get everyone to come back and share, and get educated. Get involved in your county because this is happening everywhere, not just in Nevada.